Hi, this is Deborah Palmer, and I will be doing this book talk on two books that are all about life. So, the first book we have is The Endling, the first story in the trilogy by Catherine Applegate, the Newbery author for The One and Only Ivan. And the second book that we have is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. In Endling, the last, we have Bix, the young Darnies, who comes and finds her family has been murdered. And as she travels, comes across other characters. She comes across other characters that create a new family of sorts. Tobel, who's a Wabke, who is brave. Kara, who's a female guide, but a boy guide when she's leading poachers, and she has the brains. Gambler, the Velvet, who has the strength and the conniving. And then there's Lucas and Renzo, and I'm going to let time tell you what those two characters are about. But as they're traveling, rumor has it that there's a hanging island that has more Darns. But how to get there is the question. Does Bix have the map on her leaf that she made when she was a pup, having to remember a poem about ancient ones? Only time will tell in the next two books. Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins is about a game that happens every year in the capital of Panem. And it's represented by a boy and girl from the ages of 12 to 18, for one girl and one boy selected from their districts 1 through 12. They go and participate in these games where the objective of the game is to outlive their competitor. This year, Prim, a 12-year-old, the sister of Katniss, is selected from her district. But Katniss, the 16-year-old sister, cannot let that happen, and she volunteers to take her place. Peeta Mellark is selected as the boy from District 12. During the interviews, Peeta reveals his love for Katniss, but she had never had an idea that he loved her. Their mentor, Haymitch, tells Katniss that this is a ploy to help them win the games. During the games, though, we discover, does Katniss really fall in love with Peeta? And is she willing to have a Romeo and Juliet type death with him so that neither one of them wins the game? Or does she go home and reunite with Gale, the only other boy she's known and has looked up to as a friend and now maybe a lover? You'll have to read Hunger Games and the other two books to find out how this love triangle ends. It's interesting when I was reading both of these books that each one pertained to different parts of my life. In Endling, the last, I was an Endling. I was one of the last ones when I went off to college away from home. It was a game of life because I had to find my own family. I had to find my way around. I had to find and build up the people that I could trust. And it was an interesting time. Could I have, I needed the brave one. I needed the strong-headed leader. I needed the physical, strong-headed. And then I also needed the mischievous one. And in the Hunger Games, in a way, it was my real life between an ex-boyfriend and now my husband, because I was dating two men at one time. So it was interesting. So in a way, this was my true life for a while. So I hope you enjoyed both of these books, and I encourage you to go read both The Endling, The Last,